Okay, how do you respond to that point? That just let me set up a dilemma for you.
All right.
If the television industry runs a spot for a V8 engine automobile, if you guys get your way, the broadcaster is going to be obliged to respond to the environmentalists who are going to say that V8 engines pollute the air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If we run a Volkswagen or a small car spot, which don't pollute, which do not pollute, we're going to be obliged to respond to consumer crusaders who say that small cars are unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Wouldn't that place the broadcasting industry in an unreasonable position?
Well, look, large cars do pollute, and small cars are dangerous. Now, do you want to conceal that from the public? They're buying the cars. They're doing the polluting, and it's their lives that are in danger. You want to just keep it off the air altogether?
So
is that the answer? Just to make money? That can't be the answer. The answer is you do both, and you let the people decide.
If we run an airline spot, you're going to have to put on a person who's going to say airlines pollute. And then you're going to have to put a guy on who say airlines cause noise, and I know because I'm on runway 29 on the final and I can't sleep at night. You're going to have to put feminists on who say, why aren't there more male stewards? Mm-hmm. And it'll go on. And I'm wondering really whether, I'm just asking you, if you don't feel that the industry has a right to be somewhat anxious about what you're doing.
Oh, I think they have the right to be anxious, all right. It doesn't
reasonably
follow.
So.
Well, they have a reasonable right to be anxious. It doesn't follow that they get to keep all these messages off the air.
Okay.
These are important messages, and the alternative is just withhold them from the public.
Right. What is your proposal then, Mr. Weston?
Our proposal is that when anyone has the money to buy one of these spots on the air, he gets it on, no questions asked. He's treated the same as Bristol-Myers or GM. Secondly, there ought to be some free time available for informational messages that don't argue positions, but simply give people information that can save their lives.
There already is.
No,
Public service announcements.
Smokey, give me one public service announcement that's relevant to health or safety.
Prevent blindness.
How do you prevent blindness?
Contribute to muscular dystrophy.
But that doesn't tell people what to do. These spots tell them how they can save their lives by taking action themselves. It tells them what to buy, what not to buy. It tells them what cars are dangerous. It tells them what they can do about pollution, not just don't throw Kleenex out your window. It tells them, for instance, we have a spot that tells people how they can make money turning in water polluters. That's important information. The large companies certainly aren't putting it out.
Okay. Let's do this number 2. How do you set that up?
Well, a lot of money is spent selling aspirin products over the air. In fact, Bayer Aspirin, for instance, spends about $20 million a year selling aspirin. Anacin spends about $26 million just advertising. Yet I don't think there's one person in this audience that knows what Anacin is. Yet probably most of you have bought it. Well, we decided to tell people what it was, and we decided to tell them that the American Medical Association thinks that certain over-the-counter drugs, like Bufferin and Excedrin, are, quote, irrational, not recommended remedies.
Now, isn't the argument that they're all equally effective, rather than unimportant, or rather than ineffective?
Some of them may have negative effects.
But that's not the point of this spot.
Yes, it is. It says that the AMA has announced that a number of remedies are irrational, unsound, and not recommended.
Okay.
And that the thing that makes sense is to buy plain, inexpensive aspirin.
Oh, so you say that it's okay to take aspirin. Aspirin can help you.
That's right.
Well, if you say aspirin can help you, then you've got to say that Bayer and Anacin can help you.
Bayer is a good aspirin. It just costs about 6 times as much.
Now, but the point, all right, that's a different point, isn't it?
That point is also in here.
Okay. Roll film.
I'd like to talk to you about a drug problem called Excedrin, Emperin, Anacin, Cope, Vanquish, and Bufferin. The American Medical Association has found remedies like these to be either irrational, not recommended, or unsound. As for plain aspirin, there's no persuasive scientific evidence that one brand is more effective at relieving headaches than another, although the major brand costs a lot more. So the next time you buy something for your head, use your head. Buy the least expensive plain aspirin you can find.
That's it. That's a lot of information in 30 seconds.
Right. And it's also a tremendous threat to the economic viability of this industry.
But it's not a threat to the consumers, and that's who we're worried about. There's
Okay,
got
I'm
to
just
be
going to
room.
ask you this one more time now, and really, I'm not trying to badger you, but do you agree that the cost of providing the public information on this in this media is terribly high? Mm-hmm. News departments' budgets are among the highest in the whole business. News departments never make money, either for the networks or the local stations. Mm-hmm. How do you not agree that once you get the ability to run spots like that, will Bayer and Anderson really be interested in using us as an advertising vehicle? And don't we run the risk of someday turning on our television set and seeing slides and organ music?
I don't think so at all, although I happen to like organ music. The answer to that is very simple. It's been tried before with cigarettes. In 1971, all cigarette advertising was removed from the air. That took away $170 million in revenue from the television industry. That was a blow. They still made a substantial profit in that year, and the following year, within 1 year, broadcast industry in this country increased their profits by 46%, and the television networks increased their profits by 106%. So they were able to lose all of the cigarette advertising, and in 1 year, the networks doubled their profits. Incredible.
Well, okay.
I mean, they were able to lose 6% of all their revenues and weather it just without a tremor.
30%, it is alleged, of all television stations in this country are losing money. Mm-hmm. And many broadcasters see this effort to demand counter-commercial time as the death knell for many of those stations. The result will be less varied options in terms of channel numbers for the viewer.
I think if anything, counter-commercials will help those stations. I'll tell you why. When Consumers Union came out with a story that STP was not a good thing for your car, STP spent $11 million in advertising to rebut the charges. Whenever Bayer comes out and criticizes another aspirin product, as they have, the other aspirin product fights back with more expenditures for advertising. You put these announcements on the air, and Bayer and Excedrin are going to double their advertising budgets, and everyone's going to make money, and the public's going to get information.
This is Tracy Weston, attorney at law, president of Public Communication Incorporated, the country's first joint public interest law firm and advertising agency. He's from Washington, and we'll be back in a moment.